let's turn our attention to the NHL because we got some damn good games on the slate tonight. We got 4 of them, and we got Anna Dua here. We got Paul Bruno going to help us make some picks for tonight's games. So the Avalanche last night, you two, punching their ticket to the next round, finishing off the sweep of the Predators. So easy. But for the most part, we have all close series in this first round. And each of tonight's games feature a Game 5. Series is tied at 2. It does not get any better than this. So let's get into it. We're going to start at center, where you have Matthews, you have McDavid as the 2 highest priced skaters on the slate. Which one of them do you want tonight, Anna?
So if there's ever a time for Austin Matthews to perform, it's tonight. It's a must-win game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, coming off of that tough loss in Game 4 back on Sunday. But Austin Matthews hasn't scored since the very first game of this series. You have to expect if Toronto wants to make it out of this first round, he's going to show up tonight. However, if you want to go a little bit more of a stable route, what about Vincent Trocheck out of Carolina? He's tied for the second most points on their team this postseason. 4 in 4 games. Carolina is coming back home, where Trocheck has 3 out of the 4 points he scored this series. He's having a great series so far for the Hurricanes, and that's another center option.
All right, so she's going top of the board, 9,200 with Matthews, Paul.
Yeah, I think I go McDavid in this one. He's more apt to get a big night. He's got the softest matchup on the schedule. If you look at the odds, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Matthews is a guy who's apt to go off any night in this series, and he's done it once already. I think this could be a second time. It's put up or shut up time for the Oilers in this series, I think.
All right, dudes. You know where we go next. Where are you willing to pay up on the wing, Paul?
I look at Vlad Tarasenko, Emerson. This guy's got a price tag of $6,100. That's very low for this uber-talented tank of a player. He's built for the rigors of playoff hockey, plays the physical game, and he scores with the best of them in these environments. He's only scored one game in this series, though, with a pair of points in that outing. I think he's overdue for another big night. So I'm on him this evening. I'm on St. Louis to win that game, too, in fact. Mitch Marner and the Leafs, Anna also mentioned how important this game is for Matthews. It's equally important for Marner. This is a playoff legacy that needs to be improved, and he's done his part in this series. He's had a great series offensively, and playing in every situation affords him the opportunity to get more ice time than any Leaf forward and have a big impact. And I think for $7,700, that's one of the better values among the big players on the wing tonight.
All right, how much money are you dropping, Anna, on the wing?
So I'm going to throw another Leafs player into the mix. What about William Nylander? William Nylander had those 2 goals against Tampa Bay during Game 4 on Sunday. He has at least 3 shots in every single game this postseason, with a total of 14 shots on net. And Nylander actually led the Maple Leafs with 8 points, 5 goals, 3 assists in 7 games during the 2021 playoffs. He's a huge playoff performer for the Maple Leafs. He's a good value for what he's set at, and I think he's definitely a person to look at on the wing.
All right, Victor Hedman, too. $1,500 more than the next blue liner on tonight's slate. You want to pay up there, Anna, or are you going to save some salary on defense?
I'm going to save some salary. I'm not touching that Toronto-Tampa game on the blue line. I'm going Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers. He's currently tied for the 3rd most points on his team during these postseason, behind only elite company in Connor McDavid and Evander Kane, who have 6. Bouchard, on the other hand, has 5. He's been playing great. He's on the second power play unit with Kane. He's coming in off of a year with 43 points, 12 goals, 31 assists in the regular season. Has 3 assists against the Los Angeles Kings at home, where the Edmonton are returning this game tonight, so I'm going Evan Bouchard.
All right, so that's one of 4 guys, Paul, in the $5,000 range. Where are you going?
I'm touching on 2 others. Hedman's had a big series against the Leafs, but I don't commit big bucks. I think this could be a low-scoring game tonight, in fact, in Toronto. I'd rather save a couple of grand there and pick a guy like Tony DeAngelo. Look, Brad Marchand got under this guy's skin, and this guy's an emotional player. I think that's what he needed to get supercharged. He's had a nice series, but I think he could be more impactful for the Canes. He's a power play quarterback. He has 8 points in his last 10 games, and he should be featured in a hotly contested game. He'll cost you only $5,400. I also like Darnell Nurse for $5,500 for much the same reasoning. He'll play a ton and will be used in all the high leverage situations tonight. So the best D-man on the ice in Edmonton is a guy that I look for a big game at $5,500.
All right, Paul, this is where you shine. Value. Where are you going?
Jesse Puljujarvi has the right wing assignment on the top line in Edmonton alongside McDavid and Kane. and should be well worth the $3,500 in that role. Look, at McDavid is not a goal scorer first. He's a setup guy first, and that should mean big news for Kane and Puljujarvi. But Puljujarvi's got the cheap price tag of $3,500. He should luck his way into a point in that situation tonight. I also think the experience of the Blues will cause them to eventually take out Minnesota. Central to that belief is the grit of Braden Shen, who costs only $3,300 tonight. He moves up and down the lineup all the time for St. Louis, expected to play left wing minutes on the second line and play on their top power play unit. That's well worth that low price tag. He finds a way to impact key games more often than not. He has 8 points in his last 10 outings. I think that's the best value on the board for me.
Anna, who is your favorite value play?
Now, Paul mentioned Tony DeAngelo, so I'm going to go back to the Carolina Blue Line. What about Brett Pesce? He has 1 goal, 1 assist this series, 8 shots on net throughout the series, has at least 1 block every single game, has been a huge presence. I've said it before, I'm saying it again, Carolina has been dominant on home ice where they're returning. So I would go Pesce or even maybe Brady Shea. Brady Shea has no points this series, but has 9 shots on net. You have to expect that he's going to find the scoreboard sometime soon.
All right, and now I need your favorite pick to take a 3-2 series lead tonight, Anna. So which team do you believe is a lock to win?
I've been saying it this entire time, but I have to go with the Carolina Hurricanes. Those first 2 games of this series, even without Frederik Andersen, they were a dominant, solid team. They weren't faltering as much as we've seen some of the ups and downs in the other series, even when they lost those 2 away games. They're coming back to Carolina. They're playing well. They have some great pieces who have shown up these playoffs. They have some underdog pieces who have overperformed these playoffs. So I'm going the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, besides the Edmonton Oilers, Hurricanes, heaviest favorite there on the money line, -150. Paul,
of all the teams that skate tonight, I believe Edmonton has the best matchup. And that's a belief that's supported by the lines that are out. The -225 favorite on the money line and longest odds for LA and at the +190. This is a spot where the Oilers should finally exercise some of their playoff demons. They couldn't ask for a better opportunity to get against a team that's without their best defenseman in Drew Doughty. And speaking of exercising demons, please, 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 the Leafs have scored 14 goals on Vasilevsky in 4 games, one of the worst playoff stretches of his career. Nobody's talking about that too much. The Leafs have a great opportunity to get 1 step closer at home tonight. They are very overdue for good news.